having those talking points around the Treasury. Single accounts, 2 guests, one in Lagos, the other in Abuja. Babalola Tope is the economic analyst from ProShare Nigeria. Thank you for being here. And of course, out there in Abuja studios is Abubakar Damburam Nuhu, who is the chairman, the House of Reps Ad Hoc Committee on TSA. So let's continue that question I had for you earlier. You said the government has been borrowing, so your committee is investigating why the government is borrowing its own money. Clear that for us.
Omopai, let me say that, you know, the TSA account that is seated in CBN is like any other account which you have in any bank. So you have monies going in and out of that account, just like any other normal, you know, account that is being operated in any bank. Now, if you take out monies that are not there, that means if you overdrew the account, it means that you have borrowed from that account. And what I said is that as at September last year, the account has been overdrawn to the tune of about 40 billion. So that means, you know, money is not there, and government, because they need to pay out or they need to release some monies because of some other projects or programs, the account had to be overdrawn. So that is the position of the account as at September. But I said to you that, you know, all these issues can only be resolved with reconciliation for us to now know what actually has happened, that the account had to be overdrawn. And if that account is overdrawn, whether it is being overdrawn rightly or wrongly.
Okay. I think I'll get back to you very quickly. Just hanging in there in Abuja for us. Babalola, also explain from your own perspective here the key challenges that the TSA faces. Some MDAs are withholding some of these monies. What do you think? Let's begin to wrap our heads around what we need to do. The Honorable Abubakar spoke about we need to reconcile what we have in there. We need that for transparency anyway.
Well, first of all, most importantly is that the kind of TSA we run is the zero-based accounting, and it's so important for reconciliation. And therefore, if you don't reconcile it, it also puts to question the kind of TSA you're running. So you have to reconcile it, and I totally accept to the Honorable that not reconciling the TSA for the last 2 years also puts in question, because we have to reconcile it. That is a starting point. Then 2 is that you also have to integrate your foreign currency, because when you don't integrate your foreign currency, it also affects the kind of FDIs you have. It affects donors and grants. And for many countries like Morocco, which have enjoyed a lot of donors and grants in terms of green projects, it will affect us. So you also have to integrate that too. So it also improves. Then expediting revenue. Expediting both revenue and ensuring that outflows are quick is very key.
A quick one, let me cut in quickly. You talk about donors and whatever. If we have some donations from outside to go into the polio vaccination, whatever, fighting malaria and whatever, does it go into that account?
Yes, it does.
It does.
It does.
So we have one of the global agencies that has suspended aid to Nigeria. I think that's the Global Alliance. I forgot it now. Which the former one of the former finance minister, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, is the current chairman, and I think it's a JV. And the vice president a few months ago, last year, made allusion to that because of the lack of transparency, whatever. We've got some suspension from. So, is that what you talk? One of the things you're talking about?
Well,
an example of it.
I'm not certain on that. I don't want to put my fingers on that. But what we're simply saying is that because you have not integrated it with foreign currency, you always have, there's a strong possibility that those donors' funds get trapped into that.
When you say bring every money into the TSA, why should that policy directive discriminate between the dollar and the naira?
Well, in most circumstances, what we have is in the TSA, you have also a scenario whereby you integrate the donors. Because initially, the TSA is actually, you have to separate between what with the nominal currency and then the foreign currency. But then, because it's an inflow from foreign currency, it also allows you to therefore integrate it. What we run is a centralized TSA, but not completely centralized. Let's be clear about that. But therefore, you also have to create a medium, a mechanism, whereby it also brings in donor grants. But we've not done that. And that's just to allude with what the Honorable said.
Honorable Abubakar, no, let's get back to you in this conversation in Abuja. What would your committee want to see, your ad hoc committee see happen, and very quickly, because there are quite a number of issues still hanging out there, from whether it has been withholding by some MDAs we haven't really cleared, as far as whether we should do a reconciliation, who should do the reconciliation, when should it be done, should it be at the National Assembly, do you want to have a public hearing, what would you want to see happen?
Thank you very much. Let me say that the threats that are, facing TSA need to be quickly resolved. And those threats are the issue of uncoordinated and issues that has to do with introduction of new technologies that are not connected to TSA. You are raising the issue of donors, thing that has to do with folio and co. As we speak now, already there is there in the open, which is the health ministry are trying to come up with their own sort of technology of system of payment, which they are calling health pay. Now, this health pay is not integrated into the TSA. It calls for a lot of issues, in terms of when you allow ministries to be creative in terms of wanting to, become evasive or wanting to go through the back door of, flouting the issue of the TSA policy. So to me, critical stakeholders need to be taken, alongside. They need to, carry them along. Critical stakeholders like the issue of NIDA, which is the government armed that is responsible for the issue of the information technology, which is the policy of the information technology of government.